Lane. Star Wars
Oh, is it playing the,
Running around watching hockey games. Yeah, you went to a track.
well, it's playing, I know what it's doing, it's playing, oh yeah, it's playing lots of music.
No, that's today's meeting.
That was, it brought me to our YouTube channel,
I don't know if it's health.
but it's live streaming, it's good.
Healed yet.
Or it's getting some feedback from over.
It's still, you know,
It's good to go whenever you're ready, Mom.
All right, Chairman.
I'm actually gonna start on time, unless this clock is a little behind.
My phone says 12 o'clock exactly, so
Very good.
ready to go.
So, I'll call the, Clinton County Industrial Development Agency meeting to order on April 15th. Tax day. Everybody else finished?
Yeah, I took my money on Sunday, yes.
I'll declare a quorum and waive the reading of the notice of the meeting as well as the minutes and ask for a motion to approve it. Dave, second, Mark. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Molly, you want to introduce CJ?
Sure, as I made the committee aware, we have a application before us from Schluter Systems that is in your packet. I did do a cost benefit analysis on it that I'm gonna need to modify. We'll get into it a little later, but as our protocol states, we have the presentation from the company for you to hear, digest, and then the next meeting you'll decide whether you want to move forward with approving benefits for the project. So, CJ?
Thank you. With me also is Brad Rembund. Brad and I are on the management committee. We don't have a CEO.
Excuse me, see, I'll be right back.
Gotcha.
You don't have a CEO?
No, we run by a committee, actually. So the chief operating officer, chief financial officer, chief sales officer, legal counsel, and
All the chiefs.
business development leader as well. So we operate as the president and CEO of the company.
So how do you operate on a day-to-day basis? You have department heads?
Yeah, it trickles down to your department head.
Yep. Yep.
And then in between, we all of us have a meeting with the owners in between. Sorry. No problem. Okay, as I said, I'm here with Brad. Brad and I are on the management council. Our project today is technically, I haven't called it phase one of a three-phase development. We're looking to build a state-of-the-art manufacturing building for our brand new security board. It's one of our prime projects and products. And from that product, we make our niches and everything else. It's a bunch of other products. That's his butt ballywhack. He can do that. I just do the Q's and T's. It's on our land, right adjacent to us. We built a water tower. Since the town didn't have enough water pressure for us to stay, we built a water tower inside the facility in terms of building. It's going to produce 48 jobs. Our cost is $200 million. As all our other projects before you, we always do it straightly. We do not do any financing. Doesn't mean we don't need it. We use all the financing comes in with the Schluter group of companies. We're a global company. We're looking to grow. One of the major goals is so that we can keep our headquarters here. We are out of space. We rent 2 different sites for offices, one in Peru, and we have over 100 seats. Both were 100. I don't count anymore. Up at the pod place, up at the old fighting building. We would like to get those people back. But that such is our phase 3 of our project. Our first phase is this manufacturing building, and then close to us. Since I'm still trying to buy the land. We're going to be siting a 1 million square foot building. And that will be a state-of-the-art, distribution center,
Yeah, warehouse and distribution.
warehouse distribution. So we want to do all three at the same site.
I apologize, excuse my ignorance, but you said something that just threw me for a loop already. Is the application in front of us
Just phase one,
phase one, but not the project that you're contemplating
no,
on the land acquisition that's going through the town process right now?
no.
That's not that, it's not that project.
No,
So this is, what you're building now is on your current, already titled property, right? Is that, am I right? or wrong?
Yes.
Wrong. Okay,
absolutely.
okay, so I misread this application.
It's a-
I thought it was on the land that you're going through the zoning process
Don't
right
even
now.
own it. Zoning is done by the town.
Right,
If they get that zone, then my eyes become a little bit more fine tuned to that,
Right,
and we would do a zoning.
so this is the 460,000
This
square
is
foot
the-
facility.
433,800.
Oh, sorry.
I started off at four, but this guy keeps changing. it.
Okay,
No, it's 433,800.
Okay.
It will house, it's gonna be owned by our holding company, UMS Holdings. We always make joint applications. But all the jobs are gonna come from Schuler Systems, and they will actually be doing the job. Inside there, we're also gonna lease a portion of our property to SSF Productions. They're our adjacent company. We have an interest in it, but we don't control it. It's a related, well, it's not really a related company, but, brothers, another brothers, another fellow. So they're right next to us. They're gonna come over because it's their technology that we're gonna do. This new facility, we hope to be, our goal is to be VOC free. We've got new blowing agents, new formulas, new equipment. He can get to the details of what the, in fact, want me to stop and let him tell you.
Yeah, I can give you a little bit. It's a state of the art extruded polystyrene plant. Have extruded
lost me
polystyrene now. Okay, it's a foam plant.
I'm getting,
It's a foam plant. So, but it is gonna be a state of the art. So this is gonna advance our product. It'll make it greener for us as well and extend our capacity. We're currently out of capacity in our current facility, so we need to expand to be able to keep up with sales. So there's a time limit by which we need to make this decision and do this. So this facility will be all for that product. We sold over 1 million boards last year in Curdy boards and another 400,000 in curbs and benches and niches. So it's been a very popular product, but we've got to advance it and we've got to get more capacity. So we'd like to do it here.
so sorry to butt in. Is the phase one, is phase two contingent upon phase one? I mean, like, are you guys making separate decisions on phases 2 and 3, notwithstanding what we do on phase one?
I don't think I'm gonna have any risk on phase three. Phase two has a little bit about where am I going to site. Okay, it's a distribution center. We've looked at other areas, we've been welcomed to other areas, but we really want to keep it close to our existing facility, and that's where I am looking at that other site. They had a public hearing Thursday night. Things looked okay. Same zoning as the industrial zone as we are in right now. So I've been talking to Mike in the town and Trevor. And a little bit about being my former career. Looks okay, but it is phase 1, 2, and 3. I mean, this should be okay, and I'm not expecting any surprise, but I hope we get an answer on that in the next couple of months. And then, probably take the way we.
I mean, the combination is over 1.1 million square feet that I've got drawings on, right? That I'm making drawings right now for both.
I know you said this, but can you walk me through again? Phase one is going to be,
Manufacturing plant
For
for
the-
400, yeah,
Yep.
433,800.
phase 2 is the distribution plant on the new land. Phase 3 would be,
On the proposed new land, I don't want to speak.
okay, proposed new land.
Expansion.
Yes.
Phase three is just an expansion of a
No,
phase two?
phase three is
Oh,
we have an office building, we have land in an office building. However, if you come down Pleasant Ridge Road, there's a railroad track. Across the street of the railroad track, we own 4 acres of land. However, the owners think they can build on it. Unfortunately, I'm gonna tell them that they can't. The town is surrounded by Abernathy Trailer Park. They're not too keen about any future zoning designations for that. So, we got property cited for that, so if we do this one, then I can probably also start communications on the land for the office building. And it's
so the office
all
building would
right.
be, like a 300 office space.
So let's assume everything is green lighted. When you propose that, can you give me like a time frame as to when each phase would be built and completed?
I can't.
Phase one, I'd like to start moving dirt and doing a foundation now,
Okay.
like this
And-
piece, I gotta do
And
it.
assuming there's no issues with the acquisition, phase two would potentially start when?
Phase two would start probably early next year.
In phase three?
Phase three would probably be 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
We committed to a
Although we've-
long-term lease, so it's gonna be
I'd
hard
like
to
to
get out of that one.
the lease up and-
because-
Shazy and Peru. I'd like to get out of it. We've got a number of people up, 75, 80 people at least up there now. So we gotta make sure we have a long-term strategy that makes sense here. Does it work?
So the land that you're proposing to acquire, is that adjacent? Or is it, further away?
The phase two.
I guess it's
adjacent.
It's not adjacent. The building that we're proposing right now is absolutely adjacent to that property.
It's,
The distribution center is, what I would consider, 2 blocks away. If you take an Irish settlement, it's within 2 blocks away, so.
behind
And
that, so
that's something I don't really would like in the press. It's still not, I just got contracts on it, and one of them's going to expire, and I might, if I don't get something, I'm gonna have to look someplace else. Because that property they want to renegotiate, it's taken 2 years to get to this point with the town. And there is frustration, I get it all the time.
yeah, for me mostly.
And I get it from my owners who say, hey, I bought a piece of property in Germany and I got it within 90 days, and so it doesn't work that way.
No, you threw another curveball at me.
Good.
The project in play here today,
Yes,
you said is on adjacent land. I thought that was land you already,
we own it, but it's adjacent because
it's
it's
adjacent to your,
the road between us, our main parts.
Okay, all right, but it's land you fully titled.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
So where were we? Are you done?
Yeah, sorry.
Well,
sorry.
I'll answer whatever questions or details
Well,
you want to understand.
I've got some questions on the application, if I may.
That we described. I can't say any more, so why don't you hit me with your question?
Okay, and
I love your questions, Mike.
yeah. And let me first say that I sat on a Curdy board bench this morning.
Oh,
All
thanks.
right, so I truly love your product. I truly love the fact that you're in Clinton County. And I mean that. So I'm gonna ask a couple questions here. I don't want you to think that I'm in any way opposed to what you do for the region. Okay? So bear with me.
Yep.
And some of these are extremely easy. So I think CJ answered this one. The project that's in front of us today, like most of your other projects, has no mortgage attached thereto.
No, that's why I'm gonna do a straight lease.
See, 1 for 1.
You're just starting off easy. Now you're gonna have to do it.
No, I'm not. So, questions 3A and 3B in your application. Let's go to 3B first. And I didn't know if that was accurate or not. The question is, will the project move its facility from another location in New York to Clinton County? And the application's marked yes. Is that?
No, mine, 3A, mine is marked no.
3B,
Oh,
3B.
with the project movement. Well, I read that as if we don't get this, would I go someplace else? That's how I read that. I'm sorry, if I answered no, no up there, it should be no down here. The only way it would be, will I move someplace else without the incentive? Yeah. I'm sorry.
So I believe that should be no. You're not moving,
Yeah,
you're not moving a project to a new piece of
Yeah,
land within the
right.
county.
We have no other facilities in New York.
Okay.
yeah, that's a,
Clinton County.
that's the IDA, like, we have to make sure we're not stealing
I read
business
it
from
wrong.
somewhere else in
For
New York.
clarity's sake, I currently have a Curdy board plant, okay? That plant will move into the new facility and I'll repurpose the current plant for future production of other things.
That's well within the rules.
Just one major, we're talking,
Well,
More aimed at like pirating one location. to
No,
another.
we're not.
County doing.
we're not doing
Like,
that.
I can't go visit Micron in Norton County and say,
Yeah,
come over
yeah.
here.
Gotcha. We're not doing that.
So 3A, you know, you've hit upon it, but this is the one that strikes me a little weird. Again, I say this with love, not malice, is that you're building this wonderful new facility. And, you know, I'm just having trouble reconciling asking for the benefits when you're saying that this is necessary when you're paying, I don't want to oversimplify, but paying in cash for the building, for the project.
Yeah,
I guess, can you speak to that so we understand better? Like, normally when someone comes up, this is the last piece that, but for us, the project wouldn't happen. They're looking to fill a financial gap.
I would answer that question is our projected project is, like I said, 3 phases. Either we keep them all together or we don't. And the first step is being here. We need these incentives in order for us to propel us into phase 2. I got an application with the CFA. State, okay? We would like to stay here. I can tell you right now, Texas and Nevada constantly ask me to come there to headquarters. I've constantly said no. And the no is not that it just is myself because I live here, but Mr. Schluter came, he's our founder. He wants to stay here. 2 boys, and he's kind of like one step away. All he does is with the IP work with me. Other than that, he's out of the picture. They make all the decisions. They're not tied to 100%. They want to fulfill their father's wishes. That was a direct question to them to come back to me. So when the state of New York, the state of Texas and Nevada, and then dealing also with South Carolina, they want to come. They all, first thing they lay on your table for additional incentives. Okay, will you name this as a headquarters? I've said no every single time. I've got to go back to them and take a look at it hard, why we wouldn't go there, because the incentives are just as good, if not a little bit better. When our sister company went to Georgia, they gave them the land, plus super great pricing. That financing doesn't matter to us, but SSF. They've asked us to come, and we have. We want to stay here.
Again, I agree with everything what CJ said, but it's getting harder and harder to reconcile staying in New York State with everything that's being done elsewhere. Even though, yes, we can pay cash for this, and that's the way they tend to operate, okay? Doesn't mean that we should be ignoring, you know, the financial benefits of other states. We're gonna have to make a major investment to even bring power into this area, okay? The building doesn't currently have, the area does not have the power necessary, and we're gonna have to make a major investment to help with that, bringing that in, just to be able to do the expansions we do. I don't have to do that in other areas. I looked at 3 properties on Friday down in Texas, because I gotta have a contingency plan, I gotta make decisions quick on this. So it's the home of the people, this is what we'd like to keep, the manufacturing excellence in this county, in this state. But it's becoming harder and harder to do that with the investments we're making and.
Have you had, other than the CFA application that you're going? Conversations have you had with ESD or anybody else?
Just
Vis-a-vis New York State benefits versus South Carolina or Texas?
South Carolina last week, I'm supposed to touch base with them again. I spoke to Denton County where we're located in, maybe 2 months ago.
But what about?
I have not
you
presented this project
to the state of New York. No, I mean to the state of New York,
State of New York.
vis-a-vis these other conversations.
He's asking the, like, any other organizations in New York State.
Have you talked to New York State, Empire State Development and say, listen, state of Texas is giving me X.
I
South Carolina's
I told
giving
you
you Y.
in my application to CFA. Bill Ferguson knows exactly what it is.
Then what are you
Okay.
asking for from in the CFA process?
20% financing and Excelsior credits. And he told me a good level. Depending upon what their budget is and everything, they might load one side versus the other. But candidly, I'm gonna tell you, we've been here, I've been here from day one. We've asked, in my situation, we've asked very little. Okay, we've got some finance, we never asked for finance. We've given every job projection we gave you, we've exceeded. And I remember when I did my first one and I had to get 55. I said, hey, Ed, we can get 55 more. We're over 700 right now. And we're looking to add 50 more. I have fully complied with and met every single requirement that I've had with the IDA and any other agency. I would really like to keep it here. I don't know what else to say, but we don't ask, we had to extend our natural gas at our cost underneath the highway. Okay?
That's the second one.
We're gonna we know the substation coming in, they're telling us needs upgrade, and they're looking for us to do the upgrade. We're not gonna walk away from that. And we had to do our own water tower or else close down. And we did that. Those are millions of dollars that we threw in, and the water helps the Abenaki people over there. Okay, the gas, if anybody wants to come over there, it's there on this side of the thing. And I think that's another reason why gas being over here, it'd be smart for them to consider another industrial agency development, but that's totally different. We've been here, and we've been a very, let me just throw this at you. This will add 117 to 120,000 sales tax to people. We're gonna be spending 5.9 million on raw materials, another 1.6 for goods and services. We're gonna increase, naturally, we're gonna increase our sales. It's good for all of us, but it's really good for this community too. It's not.
No, no problem. Just wanted to ask a question about the effect of position. The skill set that you have at this current site, how does that compare with other sites and your involvement? You maybe elaborate on the quality of the technical knowledge of the people or the work ethic or whatever.
Or what do you mean, like for the people we have in Plattsburgh versus Texas?
And others, I mean, from the standpoint of the benefit to the community and employing them as an employable group of people that, here, I've heard in the past, not from your organization, but the technical knowledge, the ability to get things done, the good work ethic, that type of thing. I'm not sure what you're gonna see other places, right?
Yeah.
When you're tracking, or if there's even any available.
I
Is there any
would respond
benefit
to you
to that?
that we develop our own. I can, we're in Texas, we went down, developed those people, we trained them and everything else. We have a low turn. Brad's doing a great job. They love working for us. Will we have to educate these guys? Yeah. However, when you take a look at the Dallas Fort Worth, there's a lot of people that know students, and they would be easily to transfer to another job as long as your relationship with your employees are good. And our relationship is strong.
The easiest place for me to hire is Dallas, Fort Worth, believe it or not. I thought it would have been the hardest, but it's the easiest for me to hire because of the people that are moving in there. This is one of the more difficult places. Reno is also up there in difficult places to hire. Mostly because of where we're located, but it is a challenge. If we build this someplace else, the other aspect of this is that, remember, this is a new manufacturing plant. It's replacing the current one we have with newer technology. If we can't do it here, those jobs go away. It's over 130 jobs that go away. And I kind of lowered that number. That's probably closer to 150 when I really extended into office and things. And then, some of the businesses locally, like, that supply us materials that support that line would also be potentially affected, that a local here, would be impacted by it to some degree. Corrugate, things like that.
Last year, we did $20 million in purchases in the county. Remember that?
Yeah, over 80 businesses.
Can I ask
Yeah,
a
we're
clarification question? You said 130 on the application. You're talking about 613 jobs being retained. What's the
The
distinction?
difference between being retained versus what we're gonna lose if we relocate. His 130 would be, if we did not get this, 130 will go to wherever it is.
They're the people that I currently have employed today in the Curdy board line and
Got it.
associated on the 3 ships.
The difference to the 600 are people that would stay regardless. I don't want 130 to leave.
Right, no, I don't either. We've never had a layoff. I don't want to be the first one.
This next question is my pure ignorance. Can you explain the relation, I just want to understand the relationship between the two applicants, the UMS folks
Very
and the
simple.
solution.
I first came there and said, hey, guys, how come the operating company owning the land? I don't do this. Took me 10 years to get them. In Germany, there was all trust. So we finally got them to do a holding company. UMS is Udo Mark Schluter Properties. They hold all the US properties. It's a holding company. We then lease it to the operating company, Schluter Systems LP. And I do that no matter where I go.
You've done that in the factories.
That's everywhere.
Yeah.
So my next question is, this is a 200 plus $1 million project. The notwithstanding whatever benefit is provided. It looks as though the assessment that's used on this $200 million, 100 million of which is the building, then there's the ancillary stuff. I'm trying to reconcile. To me, that assessment would be far higher than the benefit that you put in the
It
application.
would be the question that I get, I think I put 1/6 down there. And that question.
You
1/6.
said that the assessor, was
full is
looking at about 4 million.
No, I talked to him, it would be, closer to 15 million, or something like that, in our taxes.
And that's what I said in the
Our
beginning. that I-
taxes would be 400. I
Right.
went back and talked to him and I amended it for my SFA, my CFA. I went back and I read it again this morning. What's in your application form?
Okay,
Okay.
And,
Property tax abatement.
correct.
correct.
Is it
So
my,
it'd actually be like 365,000, I think.
so you'll have to redo that based on.
Yeah, I had.
Yeah.
So, Chris, this is a question to you. Want to make sure I understand. Say that's $15 million. And in 3 years, things are booming. And the building is now worth $20 million, $18 million. The percentage of taxes that are still required vis-a-vis a pilot benefit is based, that's not a fixed number at 15. The percentage is off whatever the assessment goes to, assuming the company has the ability to grieve the assessment. So we're not locking into an assessed value when you approve the pilot.
I mean, every pilot's different. I mean, some pilots are fixed rate for solar deals, for
Yeah.
example, but this isn't that type of transaction. It's just a percentage abatement. And it's
Yeah, we
based
do a
on-
percentage.
It's based on the
not
assessed
number.
value of the improvements as it goes up.
Okay. I'm almost done, gentlemen.
Mark, were you alluding in your question to the skill set changes that occur with this new plant?
Yeah, it's what, I guess, from a standpoint of the necessity in the area. Because I've heard this from the aviation industry, it's the term I wanted, the upbringing of the folks in the area, they tend to be more inclined to that type of work. And I can't about things of that nature. I didn't know whether that plays.
Yeah, I don't know that it really necessarily plays a role in it, but I do know that the new plant will bring in, we will be developing higher skill sets to be able to operate this new plant. So they'll have, I'll call it more modernized skill sets to be able to operate, more automated and,
You're right.
and modern, higher technology approach.
PLC.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I've had to increase PLC skills a lot in this area, in my plant. And it'll have even more of that, from the storage right into the manufacturing plant itself. I want to add more process controls in that, and I want it to operate at a higher efficiency level. Is going to be part of what we get out of this as well. So we will be developing them.
Any other questions?
Still
Just the way, okay.
Third yellow stick.
No, a lot of them were answered because they were all on land acquisition costs, and I was misunderstanding. I was confusing phase one and phase two, I guess.
Yeah. Has the company had any conversations with Peru Central School District on its proposed plan? There's a push out there, by the school districts to convert a potential pilot benefit into a post-community benefit. That benefits, doesn't change the company's contribution, but it benefits the school district's, tax cap calculation.
So I'm gonna go talk to them.
There's,
They're pushing
Yep.
that.
yeah, there's, a big move in the legislature, NICE that is very much pushing, pilots to be non-existent when it comes to school districts, so.
I didn't know that, but I worked with Chris on
Yeah, it really
the
just has to,
mobile stuff. That's where I met you.
Oh,
Yeah, you did. Your name popped up.
might be Chris Martell, another Chris before me.
Oh, maybe it was.
Yeah.
but, there is a newer, there's an interim superintendent of Beekman that, is very familiar with host community agreements, and the word has kind of gotten around to the other superintendents that that's how they're going to prefer to do business.
It makes no difference to the IDA, as long as that benefit is commensurate with whatever the pilot benefit would be. And that there is linkage between the host community benefit and the pilot.
We come in a lot of different flavors, but that's the trend.
The next question's on attachment E. I'm just a tad bit confused as to why we're going down the deviation rabbit.
Tell you what, I think I told Mom that she asked the same question. Last time I came in front of you, you told me to go back. You did not agree with the way I calculated it. And you said, go back, take the 30 more days and defend your deviation.
That sounds like me.
So I gave you a deviation to justify all my stuff, because I don't, he'll cry if we have to get into jump.
I mean, generally,
That's the
generally,
only reason I did that.
generally speaking, I would say it depends on how you look at it. It could be borderline category 2, it could be category 3, depends on what your determination. I came up with 12 points, which would be our category 2 benefit. So,
And at the end of your application, there's I guess a land map there that denotes where this project would be.
Let me just explain that. That map should be the current merged parcel of -18. We bought, yes, that's the map. And if you look at this corner, this was formerly Brunel, this was Musso. These are now all merged in, and these two were Simpsons. It's now we own all this land and they
Your
merged it.
current big buildings are on this site right here,
Current buildings are right up here on
Okay.
10.1.
but
This
you,
is totally
but
different.
you bought this years ago.
Oh. Yeah, the year.
Okay. And can you just, the S curve as you got here, that's just issues with
Existing
certain
pro-
landowners or?
These are your existing people on Whispering Pines. This is that's owner has passed away, and she's thinking of maybe selling, but, she's doing the transition.
Suffice to say, you'd like to buy all of that.
There's been an offer out for everybody.
That's all I have.
Anybody else have questions?
No.
I think the only comment I would make over the whole discussion is that we would certainly like to keep you guys here. Because, I think, you're certainly meeting the charge in trying to make, Clinton County successful economically. So
Thank you.
with that, it's still up to what each individual decides.
Well, I don't want you going away like, oh my God, you know, I believe that there's a willingness to do something on this board. I think we're gonna have to just delve into things and see what that is. I mean, I think the chairman's 100% correct. Don't think we want you to exit the community with those 130 jobs.
No, we don't either. So, and like you said, we would like to be here, but it's, you know, we've got a lot of investment that has to be made to be able to even support the infrastructure. You know, that alone could be very helpful. You know, to use this benefits of being able to do that.
Do you have a cost that you factored for NICEAG?
Not yet. They've just told us we're
real
we have 1/3 of what we need, what they told us. And that was before phase 2. And we're trying to get the rest of the applications in for phase 2 and phase 3.
How many megawatts do you need?
There's enough to, I think,
Well,
I gotta be careful though.
Well,
We can do, I think it was 8, but they can give us maybe 4 or 5. We can do 1 extruder. But when we get this to maximum, we need to make all these improvements. That's why it's not,
we're trying to figure out.
Super
if we can
critical.
Start up.
but I think money can buy, to get the other equipment. One question I have for either Molly or Chris, could you give me a, host community agreement for that?
We can, oftentimes that's drafted by company council.
Yep.
For these, but we
Oh, okay.
yeah, we do it once we have one.
Yeah. I
And
just
again,
like to
it's
read.
not that what the school district will want that.
Yeah, I'm not, I just,
We're seeing it.
You
more.
might wanna have a conversation.
We would like the
Yeah.
school district comfortable with the transaction before we do something.
Yeah.
So if you have that conversation and communicate it to Molly, that would be appreciated.
We've got some examples.
Who's school district's attorney these days?
oh, the attorney.
I think Jackie Keller.
I can tell, I'll communicate.
Thank you.
That is what I've been eating.
We've been wrong, but I'm kidding. Probably why.
That concludes our participation.
Yes, thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you all. Nice to see you, Mark. John.
See you, see you.
Nice to see you.
That's for 2 weeks ago. What? Good luck there for the. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you again.
I appreciate all your help. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that chairman, we can move on to the
Treasury.
treasurer's reports. Actually, we do have public comment. We did somebody here from Invenergy. I don't know if you wanted to say anything.
Don't have a lot to offer.
Okay.
I'm still kind of,
You just coming for the free sandwich now? or what?
I didn't even get one yet. I don't know. Yeah, they'd like me to come, yeah, to kind of, keep an idea on what's going on in the county per se, especially if there's any, other local renewables, happening or projects like this, or, just to kind of keep a gauge. But as far as we're going, it's still kind of, sure, I think we've kind of halted pretty much everything at this point as far as negotiations, just based on the state and the wetland mitigations that we're dealing with right now have been a sizable amount of money. So, we're, just looking at different ways to, help mitigate the cost a little bit before we can really, commit to a specific number. But I think that's all been communicated to you guys already. Other than that, the projects, going forward, we're still doing surveys, we're still, right now there, as far as I know, there's nothing really holding us up other than, looking at like federal wetland permits and making sure that our application is as strong as it can be to be approved, for those, because we are in a very, very wet area. It happens to be one of the windiest areas as well, so. Yeah, other than that, nothing really to report.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, who's doing the?
Mark.
Mark? Right, you're up. Okay, the CCIDA balance sheet, The account balance as of March 31st, 2024 was $99,880.51 in checking. Let's see, that's going to be $1,475,849.93 in the sweep account.
You sure that's not 1.4 billion,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I asked at the last
It's
meeting,
like-
somebody likes the commas.
Okay.
Boy, you're up to big numbers now, Mike.
I know.
Wow, I was waiting to see if you were listening because, and I'm sure you correctly. Okay, in the sweep account, and $226,762.40 in savings. Okay, from the income statement, the organization received $38.41 in interest income. From the savings account, the organization received $1,500 from Sluter Systems LP, UMS Property LLC, and applications fees. The income statement shows the expenses that were approved and paid during the month of March on a cash basis. Invoices received paid in March. Clinton County Treasurer admin fees, $13,000. Credit card payment, meeting expense, $144.42. Bank charge / sweep fee, $10, for total expenses of $13,154.42. End of report, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Any
Move to
questions?
accept, Chairman.
Second? Second. John, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mark. Well, any old business? If not, then, Molly, you want to start with catalogs?
Yep, so first up, we're going to have, the seeker now we vote on these separately
We can, every idea doesn't have really, it's going to both secret resolutions
together.
together.
That would be great. So we have the two seeker resolutions for Catalyze, Palm Solar Farms 1 and 2.
Now, just to give a little background, she has a bit more. So, these were in the town of Altona, the town of Altona board, looking at this from a seeker perspective, issued a negative declaration, which should be attached to this exhibit A, saying this project would not have a significant effect on the environment. This is the best case scenario for the IDA to just piggyback off a local town board or planning board seeker determination. So this simply says the IDA is not aware of anything that make us think that they were incorrect in their determination to issue a negative declaration. So this is kind of a gold standard what the IDA should do.
Okay, so we can, you want to get a motion, Sharon, to?
Yes, may I get a motion to approve resolution number 04-24-01, a resolution concerning the determination by the town of Altona County Board as lead agency for the environmental review of the catalyzed Palmrio Solar Farm microgrid LLC proposed project. Mark? Second. Dave, second. Any discussion? If not, roll call vote. Trent Reagan, yes. Dave Hoover,
Yes.
Mike Zerl,
Yes.
Mark Letta,
Yes.
Keith is excused, John Van Natten,
Yes.
and Joey is excused. Motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve resolution number 04-24-02, a resolution concerning the determination by the town of Altona, town board as lead agency for the environmental review of catalyzed Palmrio Solar Farm 2 microgrid LLC proposed project. Now, Dave, any discussion? All those in favor, roll call vote, Dave Hooper,
Yes.
Mike Zerlo,
Yes.
Mark Letta.
Yes.
Keith is excused, John Van Natten.
Yes.
Joey's excused, and Trent Turner, yes. Resolution passes. So, do we want to give an overview of the pilot deviation?
Sure. So, the second, it's two other resolutions I'm going to talk about are deviation approval resolutions. These projects are both deviations from the UTEP because they're a fixed rate based on per megawatt charge. The deviation notice was sent to the tax jurisdictions on February 7th. Over 30 days have elapsed. I don't think the IDA has probably received any comments from anyone. So now we're in a position to approve the deviation from the UTEP for both catalyzed 1 and catalyzed 2.
Can we just, if you're able to remind me that deviation is in line with
Yes.
other solar farms of this size and scope?
Yes.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, may I get a motion to approve resolution number 04-24-03, a resolution authorizing a deviation from the agency's uniform tax exemption policy in connection with proposed payment in lieu of tax agreement to be entered into by the agency in connection with proposed catalyzed Pombrio Solar Farm 1 microgrid LLC project.
So moved, Jim.
Second, Dave. Any discussion? Not, roll call vote, Mike Zerlo,
Yes.
Mark Letta,
Yes.
Keith is excused, John Van Natten,
Yes.
Joey's excused, Trent Traham, yes, Dave Hoover,
Yes.
motion carries. May I get a motion to approve resolution number 04-24-04, a resolution authorizing a deviation from the agency's uniform tax exemption policy in connection with the proposed payment in lieu of tax agreement to be entered into by the agency in connection with proposed catalyzed Pombrio Solar Farm 2 microgrid LLC project. Can I get that motion? Dave? Mark? Any discussion? Not. A roll call vote, Mark Letta,
Yes.
Keith excused, John Van Natten,
Yes.
Joey is excused, Trent Traham, yes, Dave Hoover,
Yes.
Mike Zerlo,
Yes.
motion is approved.
Two more resolutions, Mr. Chair.
So this is the approving resolution. You voted to accept the pilot deviation. This is going to approve the project so we can move forward and close on it.
Okay. May I get a motion to approve resolution number 04-24-05, a resolution authorizing execution of documents in connection with the leaseback transaction for a project for catalyzed Pombrio Solar Farm 1 microgrid LLC, the company. May I get John? Second, Dave? Any discussion? If not, roll call vote. John Van Natten,
Yes.
Joey's excused, and Keith is excused. Trent Traham, yes. Dave Hoover,
Yes.
Mike Zerlo.
Yes.
Mark Letta,
Yes.
motion approved. The next resolution, may I get a motion for is number 04-24-06, a resolution authorizing execution of documents in connection with a leaseback transaction for a project for catalyzed Pombrio Solar Farm 2 microgrid LLC, the company. Can I get
So moved, Jim.
Mike, second, Mark? Any discussion? All those in favor? Roll call vote. Trent Traham, yes. Dave Hoover,
Yes.
Mike Zerlo.
Yes.
Mark Letta.
Yes.
Keith is excused. John Van Natten.
Yes.
And Joey is excused. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And just a reminder, full disclosure, these are the projects where Hudson West represents the company. CCIDA previously approved that conflict. We have a third party firm, that's Gerald Morris out of Woods Falls. They're gonna be reviewing our papers that will get out in the next couple of weeks to make sure everything is on the up and up.
So just to remind me, you're still doing all the required work. They're just reviewing your work. They're not doing the work in lieu of.
No, our papers. It's our papers. Yep. Thank you.
Any other new business, Molly?
Chris, did you get anything? Where are we on Saranac Power Partners?
Okay, so Saranac Power Partners, you'll remember that we did the extension prior to the expiration of the existing pilot. It's out for another 5 years. The next step is to modify the pilot again, this time to have the school district not be a part of that pilot, to get a host community agreement outside of it. So because they're getting paid outside of it and not according to their pro rata normal share, that's a diversion, or generally this below, we'll need to get the tax jurisdictions to approve that. So we just wanted to make sure it got extended because that's gonna take a few months to get the tax jurisdictions to approve that. So that's gonna be in the next few months. There's a few things we're working out with, little changes to the documents, which will be addressed up with company council. That's what we're at.
And just the treasurer's office and the taxing jurisdictions, everybody's on board. I mean, not on board, but aware. So, you know, I don't want things falling through the cracks such that we're
Everyone's
fixing
aware,
problems.
but you do bring up a good question, a good point. So on the original deal, which dates back to '92, I think there was a pilot mortgage in place, which we typically do for large transactions like this to make sure that tax jurisdictions are protected to get, in essence, a tax lien in the first position if things go into default to get their pilot payments. Originally, this is before my time, but TDC was the pilot mortgage agent. And this time around, in connection with the first amendments, we thought, oh, we better make sure that that's tie a ribbon on that. We contacted the county treasurer's office to act in that role, and
She declined.
she declined. That's a good way to put it. So,
Not my place.
so I guess moving forward, and we need to think about who should act in that role. Probably should be some organization. County treasurer has done it in the past, which is why we were a little confused about on the Noble Wind projects, I believe. Why we're a little confused, county treasurer didn't want to act in that role this time around. But it's just something that we're going to need to figure out, because obviously we want that pilot mortgage in place for projects of this size. Do you have anything to add to that, Michael?
No, well said.
Do you have any other group or agency that can handle that?
I don't know, what are other applicable options?
We'll have to dig into it. It's the treasurer's like it's
Sweet
just
spot.
It's just the logical next step, but unfortunately it's not going to work in this place.
And the county legislature do it.
I think technically it's just a question of, do we want them to act in that role? I mean, it's.
I mean, let's be very honest, whether, I know council wants this language in them, but it would be a anomaly if there was, somebody ever had to act out and.
Oh, yeah, that's, of course, sorry. This is for the off chance, but that's why you pay your lawyers. I mean, we have to think about that off chances that something happens. What's the mechanism in place to make sure tax jurisdictions are protected?
Can the county treasurer be encouraged to do it?
She has,
Been encouraged?
and she was fine.
Sorry, Mike, I wasn't disparaging your leadership.
Chris, had several conversations with her and tried to explain it.
Yes, so we'll huddle up. We'll come up with a solution to this. I'm confident on that. But the current, we have to go to plan B. How about that?
So, that brings us to a similar, I know you contacted Chippy's attorney.
He was on vacation for a while. We were in contact. I can tell you that, and we had conversation previously, making a change of that nature.
Oh, because the school districts have requested the switch now.
Yes.
On Beekman Town has requested it on Chippy transaction, which was a huge transaction. So kind of midstream making that change, it would be difficult. I'm certainly going to have that conversation really well, but it's not a layup.
We're talking about a project that we've closed 2 years ago.
Heavily negotiated transaction.
And again, I'm not, you saw me today have a conversation with a proposed project on raising that with the school district. So it's not like we are against that. It does not affect this body. It's, this one, in my humble opinion, is through the process.
And it's much, and that's why wisely we raised it with them today.
Right.
The more proper way to do it is in advance of the idea, approve the transaction, close it. Right?
Yeah.
Doing it afterwards. A little bit.
Well, I don't think that this organization should be held accountable for school districts not understanding what their rights were. They agreed to the pilot, and now that there's this new interim superintendent who's dealt with this before, and
I'm sure Plattsburgh High School would love the fire.
Is that a new model that they're moving to, like using a host community instead of a
It's-
pilot?
Yeah, that's the push across the state, because see what happens is, and I don't understand the intricacies of it, but essentially it affects their tax cap when they do a pilot, if they do a host community agreement. It does.
It hurts them against their tax cap.
So the legislature changes
Yeah,
that.
you guys don't have a preference.
It doesn't affect,
The same amount is gonna go
correct.
theoretically.
It's the year that a pilot comes off. There's a big delta.
Yeah.
But if there's no pilot, the pilots are incorporated in the tax cap calculation.
Right.
So if it's not, if it's a number, if it's a revenue to the school district that's outside that formula, it obviously is that, that's right.
So is that something we should probably consider as well?
It's something
Well,
that I would have a conversation with Northern Adirondack.
We have 2 school districts in our.
Saturday, Northern Adirondack.
NCCS and
Good people.
I guess, and I don't want to put words, the idea doesn't care.
No.
It's just documenting it, and it's.
So theoretically though, you guys, let's say you're like, okay, you're gonna get just 400,000. That's what the pilot is gonna go to the school. If the school gets it directly, they get a better return because of the tech.
It
So
doesn't
better
negatively
for you.
affect them in the year that it comes up. So like the Clinton County, we're a taxing jurisdiction as well.
Yeah.
But our pilots we're involved in every project, right? So
Right.
the dip is less for us. So if one comes off, one's probably coming on. So it doesn't grossly affect our tax cap calculation.
What I find would be very helpful for the school too is they know, right? Like, so one of the big problems with NAC and like AES and their pilot not being, was they had that huge dip because it's just them, right? So I think if the schools are, communicating that to companies like us and saying, hey, it makes more sense this way, then they know, and they're not blindsided when the pilot is.
I don't disagree, but I got enough trouble taking care of Clinton County.
I was just gonna say, again, I don't think it's this organization's responsibility
Yeah, no.
to hold the hands of the school district. If they want to host community agreement, they gotta negotiate it.
It's a business decision.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Okay, so I think that's all we have for new business, Chairman. Do you have anything from your side that you want to report in county?
Just that we continue to develop, CBIG project. We are working with, BOCES. I don't know if I've talked to you folks about that project. On a land swap out there that, we believe is a positive transaction for all parties. It's not a revenue generator, but it's allows us to leave land open, for future development that is what I would call pristine land. And also affords BOCES the ability to expand through a third party, their project, their facilities. So that's in the works.
Which would be a bond transaction partially.
Yes,
And potentially could come before us in the form of a bond.
probably sooner rather than later. It's on their time. They have a very aggressive
Yeah, I
timeline.
was gonna update you guys, and I did hear that instead of next year, it could be gone by this year.
Yeah, They want to be in the building by fall of 2026. So, that's an aggressive timeline. We also are continuing to, look for, obviously it's 2 years down the road, but the Clinton, Community College relocation, is something that, there's an IAM task force that's going on. There's some good conversations happening there about how to utilize that building and make sure it remains for the purpose that it is designed for. With that said, we've talked as a board here about obtaining a feasibility study as to what to do with the property. I do have a quote from Camoin. Labella should be forthcoming. And there's one more I'm waiting on. I forget the name of the company. But we haven't actually connected yet. The first quote we have is, I think it was $45,000, which I didn't think was that bad. So I thought it was gonna be much higher. So,
Just the lobby. We believe that the county believes that document, would facilitate projects that would come before
absolutely.
this board. As such, we respectfully request that this board consider, contributing to the cost of that proposal. In whole or part.
And I know that the county is committed to making sure.
Hopefully whole.
The county is committed to making sure that that the property is put to, it's gonna generate tax revenue. The last thing we really want is for it to continue to be publicly owned. So, everybody has lots of ideas as to what that property will be good for. So, I think the IDA owning the feasibility study gives us a little bit of, stake in the game as to what we want to see there as well, in conjunction with the county. So.
So you need something we can spend ID money on.
Yes, finally. So, and I think that's, I was living and breathing Paris for, the end of March, so that's, and thank you to Shannon particularly, for
Yes.
all of her help in doing that. And we got it submitted, I think, pretty much all correctly this year. So, but thank you very much, sure, because I can't do it without her. She's great.
She's actually, she is our parent.
So, and if there's any other questions or comments or,
I did see in the paper that, they're looking at, raising, oh God, that mall in Champlain.
yeah, that,
Mirabel.
yes, Yes.
And they talked about, replacing it with some kind of, housing.
Yes.
Is that something that we're,
I've had conversations with the supervisor about it. I've had, this body wrote a letter of support for the Lake Champlain Lake George Regional Planning Board who conducted that. I don't want to say it wasn't a feasibility study. They conducted like a survey, I guess you could say. And based on recommendations from different community leaders, picked out places that they thought could be very good housing places. The Miramar Mall was one of the ones Lake Champlain Lake George Regional Planning Board included in their report. They have since gone out to get funding to help do an actual, architectural engineering study about those places.
Is it still a little murky? About, IDA involvement in housing projects?
Very,
these days?
yes,
Yes, with 4% tax credit. Yes,
so.
we did talk to your political friend, Mr. Jones. Yeah. But,
That was specifically on the Beacon Towers.
Yeah.
right, but it's the same.
And we don't know what's gonna end up in the budget, so the language as far as that is concerned. That one's just a little different because it's low income housing. I think what Champlain is looking to do is more middle income type of housing, affordable housing, not in the sense of, one that would get the special tax credits. So, there's still some, people that are opposed to us getting into housing, although I think there might, hopefully be movement with the governor with her initiatives to really get a lot of housing built. I don't see how they're gonna get it done without IDA involvement. We've heard that, but,
Agreed.
so.
so, and then, going to Mark's question for, Schluter, are we, do we have the employee base to absorb what they're proposing?
My reaction, I don't know if you want to weigh in, but my reaction is yes. And the reason, there's two reasons for that. One is, first of all, Nova Bus, is going to be closing, and that's a couple hundred employees that between Beta and Schluter, I'm sure will pick right up. Beta is actually moving along very quickly too. They're looking right now what their rights of first refusals are at the airport, and they're building like a U-shaped campus there. So between the two, between that closure and those two, plus Schluter and Beta for that matter, have been working very closely with CB Tech and Clinton Community and have built a nice little pipeline of students for themselves. So I think you're going to see population get picked up from Nova Bus, but also I think they're doing a really good job of retaining our high school students and college students so that they're not leaving the area. So my reaction is yes.
Stairs too, right?
Sterex, yeah,
Just unlock some equipment.
yeah.
Any updates on Sterex?
I mean, we asked them we didn't ask them to submit a quarterly for this one because they submitted their Paris report, so that we consider that their quarterly for us, but we'd asked them to please submit quarterly reports.
Which they didn't invite us on.
No.
They were,
I'm not trying to be a dig here. I mean, honestly,
no,
it's just, we just have to be, we just have to eyes wide open. It can't, I'm hoping they find another tenant very quickly, but again, we benefited the tenant, not the owner.
they should have called them. Something else.
Yeah. See how it goes, but hopefully, I know it's been listed with CDC, so.
They'll never sell.
I'll follow up on the,
You didn't laugh? I just picked on your brother.
paying attention.
Not your best friend, his brother.
Willard's Way, 48, big number, but just based on seeing things like manufacturing day, where it used to get 100 kids, this last fall was like 750 students from the area.
Well,
So there's a real, the schools are buying into it. That's the real difference now, is the schools are buying into it. And I think that that's what's helping kids to understand that there's a lot of opportunity for them. And a place like Schluter, world-class,
And good wages.
yeah, and good wages, no doubt about it. There's,
And with this, honestly, if
they'll make it work.
maybe next time I can bring it with me, but what the CDES is proposing in their expansion is just going to be state of the art. I mean, really, right now, they're in a building that was retrofitted for stuff in the 70s. Technology has changed so much. I think this building is going to give them the ability to just build on what they've built, because they've got a couple of really amazing manufacturing programs. And I think there's some room for partnership with the IAM and CDES as well.
Be nice to see ID.
It would when the.
There's still stuff in boxes.
Oh, I know.
It's a shame.
Yeah, victim of circumstance, but
Yeah.
hopefully that we can change that, but. And I think, just in general, kids aren't going to school the way they used to, they don't need to. When Beta or Schluter can train you right out of high school and make $70,000, why would you go to higher education?
so would Schluter be interested in buying the community and putting their world headquarters there?
Worth a conversation.
Oh, Mike won't be able to sleep again tonight.
Okay, may I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Now he's got them all wrapped up.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Oh, good.
Lunch now, I guess.
Yeah.